3, 2, 1, 0.
Folks, it's 7 o'clock. It is Monday, which means it's time for Monday Night Nerd. But as we previewed last week, and I've been mentioning every couple days over the past few months, we are starting a brand new series here every couple weeks. We're going to do a series called Convince Me to Like. And our inaugural episode is co-hosted by pretty nerdy Crystal. She is here to talk all about Fallout and how she is a giant uber fan of this franchise, and I have attempted it multiple times and have been bored to tears by it.
Rude.
I'm being honest, but that's what I want to know. This is a series that I want to bring people on, and I want people to convince me to give these things another shot, because I've tried this. There's been other things out there in the world that I've given what I think is an honest chance, but then I know people in my life that are hardcore fans of it, that are live, die, and breathe by this stuff, and I want to bring them on to explain to me and the audience what the big deal about this franchise is. But before we kick things off, Crystal, how are you doing?
Oh, living the dream. Same thing every day.
Hey, that's not always a bad thing, and we are repping Fallout merch, which is very appropriate.
Vintage, too.
She has come prepared, ready for the show. I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody else who has joined live. If this is your first time on the show, hello. My name's Corp Cosplay. I'm a cosplayer in the Southern Ontario area, and this is my podcast. We talk about nerdy things. We talk about video games, movies, music, wrestling, cosplay, and a whole lot more. And we do it every Monday night here on the YouTube channel. And thank you all for tuning in. Usually at the beginning of the show, we have a whole bunch of newsy news stuff. But because we have a guest on, and because this is a very specific topic that is very important, we're going to skip the news this week. We have a lot to talk about, but that will be something for next week. I have a lot of Switch things to talk about and a whole lot more, but we'll save that. Yeah, it's kind of the reaction I've had. We're going to skip that for next week. We'll save that for next week. But we always have to do something here. We always have to talk about our sponsor before we kick anything off. And that is my beautiful, loving, amazing, incredible wife is always the sponsor here on the podcast every single week. Even if somebody gives me some cash, she will still be number one, because I wouldn't be doing this without her. I would not be the person I am without her, and she knows that, and you should all know that, because we've been doing this for 105 episodes, 106 episodes, and she's always been the sponsor and always will be the sponsor. Hun, I love you. Thank you for being the sponsor. And if you're new here, if you could hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, that would mean a lot too, because that means you want to see more of this. It means you want to know more about these odd franchises that I don't usually talk about. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It means a lot. Are you ready, Crystal?
Oh, I'm ready. I've been ready for weeks.
All right. Let's kick things off with Fallout. If you're not watching this live, by the way, if you're watching this later down the road, because maybe season 2 has come out of for the new show, or a new Fallout game has been announced, this podcast is recorded live Monday nights on my YouTube channel here, so you can check it out live, and you can be part of the conversation, like people like Justin in chat. I'm with all Fallout, bored me too. All right, well, we got one person who's not a giant fan of it, and we have Marcy in chat, as always. Hello, how are you doing? Okay, let's talk about Fallout. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of this. Let me talk about my background, and then, Crystal, you can talk about your background in it. Fallout was a series that I heard a lot about when it first came out. Well, I shouldn't say when it first came out. When I would say New Vegas was the first one that I heard about. I remember going to Blockbuster at the time, and they had a dirt cheap copy of New Vegas. And I went, okay, I don't know what this is. It's dirt cheap. I think it was under $10. Let's try it. Got it home, put it in, was not really in the mood to play it, put it to the side, and never put it back in. Then I got Fallout 4 with my PS4 bundle that I bought from a friend. Gave that a shot, same situation, put it to the side. Then I met this individual, and she went, Fallout. And I went, what? I really didn't. I was like, I know the series, but I just don't know anything about it. Put in Fallout 4 again, got past the bunker, got out into the open world, and went, this feels a lot like Skyrim, where there's a lot of choices. Where there's a lot of choices and not a ton of direction. I'm a very linear gamer. I used to play tons of games that were very, I could spend hours and days on it. I'm not that type of gamer anymore. I need something very boring and basic. Like I've said on the podcast many times, Red Dead Redemption 2 is like extreme for me. I also gave the show a shot, but however, as Crystal knows, because I sent her a screenshot when I was watching it and she was so excited. This was during a time when there was a lot of thunderstorms and stuff. My dog is not a big fan of thunderstorms, so we were consoling her. There was a lot of violence, a lot of bloodshed. My wife is not a big fan of bloodshed, so we just turned it off because it wasn't really for us, and we haven't turned it on since. So there's been multiple instances with multiple different iterations of the series that I have started but have not really gone into too deep. Crystal, what got you into Fallout first, and how did this love begin?
Well, I had an Xbox 360 to start. I was never a PlayStation person. Well, I was a PlayStation person, but at that time I didn't want that PlayStation. I got the Xbox. And I was playing a lot of like Left 4 Dead, multiplayer things. But then I got bored and I was like, oh, what's this on here? And it was Fallout 3. So I downloaded that and then played that. And I was like, oh, what's next? And then Vegas just chokeholded me. So yeah.
So you kicked in 3. Since then, since you've become such a fan, have you gone back and done 1 and 2?
So I have, I think, 1 for PC, but like you need to have like backwards compatible system, whatever. You have to have something because it's so old and it's so different than what it is today. So like the PC game, it's very like overhead. The story's very different. It's very hard to play apparently, so I don't think I would ever go to that. See, I find the Fallout games really easy and relaxing to play.
To each their own. As we were talking about before the show, you're fishing in Fallout right now?
Fallout 76, I'm fishing currently.
She is currently fishing in Fallout 76. I have had a very sore throat infection for the past week, so I've not been really doing a ton of cosplaying. I have been running through Lego Jurassic Park for the second time because I didn't realize that when I changed systems, I've now got it on the PS5. I've downloaded it. All the trophies reset, so I get to run through the trophies again. So I was like, Lego again. Because if you've ever looked at my trophy count, I have a ton of platinums. They're all Lego games. I don't judge, but that's an easy game to me. But to each their own. I'm glad you're enjoying the fishing.
Not really.
Well, you must be enjoying it to a point if you're sitting there racking up how many hours doing it.
It's like so monotonous. Like you're just standing there and then you pull out a doll head and you're like, awesome, what a waste. And then you try again and you're like, that's not what I need. And try again. It's very annoying. I don't like it. I'm kind of over Fallout 76, but I play it because I do.
I'm trying to think of the last game that I actually did fishing. Like, I know there's tons of games with it as a mini game, but I'm thinking, or a side quest. I'm trying to think what
right?
That was the only one that came to mind was Ocarina.
And that little, what's that one that everyone loves? Has like cotton cookie in it.
Oh, Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing, yeah.
Animal Crossing, yeah. Never got into that. See, that's a side rant for me.
I've never played it.
So we got it like the day it came out because my wife's a big fan of it, and she spent almost the entire year playing it. And then I was fine, like, let me try it. The cartridge only holds 1 save file.
What?
Yeah. So I put it in the Switch and I was like, I'm going to go to mine. And they're like, actually, it's your wife's already got a save file on here. And I'm like, I can't make my own island? And they're like, no, you have to reset everything. I'm like, screw this. Take it out. Throw it away. So
That's good.
Andre, Sega bass fishing for the Dreamcast. Nice retro pull. Very nice. I like it. All right, so you came in at 3 and you've kind of been a steady fan since, including 76, which, again, I don't know the game much, but I was around when all the backlash happened, so it's crazy to think that you're still a fan, but that's good.
Well, I've played since beta, and I paid over $300 for the game, so
You're getting your money's worth. You're getting your money's worth. So out of those, do you have a favorite?
Fallout New Vegas forever.
Fallout. Okay, why Vegas?
It's just so good. Like, the story is just so good. Like,
Okay.
and all the DLC is really good. Like, people will probably hate my favorite, but I like the one Big MT. So you go to like a crater, and there's some like crazy computer geniuses that are inside like these little like TVs. They've all gone mad, and like you have to like go out and kill these things and get stuff for them. It's just so funny. And there's a cup, and he's really mean, and it's really funny.
Okay. All right. Well, I see that's something I wouldn't normally think of. And I think we're going to talk about that a little more, is that when I think of Fallout, I don't think of the humorous side of it. I think of a very bleak, apocalyptic. I'm not saying apocalyptic can't be funny in points, but it just, the humor is not the first thing that jumps at me, except for the glitches and stuff, which everyone finds hilarious. So that's an interesting thing that I would not have thought of if we didn't have this conversation. I would not have thought that there's that much humor in the game. Is that something that is kind of across the board for the last bunch, or is that more of a New Vegas thing than the rest?
Yeah, I would say it's more of a New Vegas thing. Like there's like in Fallout 3 a family that, what was his name? And he was like in charge of everybody. But there was like some funny things that happened in there. It's been so long since I've played it, but there's more in Vegas that there's funny stuff, especially in the DLCs, but there's funny stuff all over. And like, you can have a Black Widow perk, and then you can kill Benny while sleeping with him. It's great.
So with that, because that makes Vegas such a big thing, and again, I don't know anything about, I don't know almost anything about Vegas. I know a little bit about 4, because like I said, I made it out of the bunker. Do you think the humor would fit in 4 and 76, or do you feel like that's sort of its own, they stopped it there and they went way more serious, the humor wouldn't really fit in the newer ones?
I don't find 4 funny. Like, the only funny things that kind of happen, or is if your like companions are all conjugating in the same spot. Like if you have the red rocket that you come into right when you get out, where you meet dog meat, and they're all conjugating, like they'll say funny things to each other, because like super mutant and a robot, or a robot and a person, and they don't like each other, they'll like say quips to each other. That's kind of funny. I don't really find much humor in Fallout 4, unless like a body goes flying.
Yeah. Okay. So that is something really interesting, because I am a big fan of Borderlands, which is kind of synonymous for that humor, sometimes potty mouth humor and stuff like that. So that's interesting that there is that much humor in at least the Vegas series.
Well, Obsidian did Vegas, where Bethesda has done all the rest.
Right, and I was going to bring that up, is that they have switched developers. So because Bethesda and Bethesda's reputation, the fact that it's not had much humor is probably the way they're going to go for the next forever now. Okay. Do you think, compare Fallout to the other type of post-apocalyptic games, do you feel that there are things that Fallout does better than other ones? Because that's kind of its own genre at a certain point, where, you know, name a title, there's been a movie, Last of Us, you can throw a bunch different out there. Do you feel like that Fallout does something different than the other ones?
I've not played a lot of other post-apocalyptic games, because I just am huge Fallout fan. So like I played The Last of Us a little bit, didn't get very far. I found it too hard to play. I couldn't get past the apartment, so I just turned it off. The only other one I can think of would be like Left 4 Dead. It's like zombie post-apocalyptic. Dead Island. It was really hard. I didn't finish that either.
Dead
Yeah.
Island was very boring by yourself.
Yeah.
We used to
really
play.
was.
We used to play that. There was a bunch of us that used to play it together on the PS3, and we had a lot of fun doing it as a co-op. But I think, yeah, it's free on the PlayStation Plus right now, and I downloaded it not too long ago because I was like, oh, I'll give that a shot. 5 minutes, I was bored to tears by it. So I think similar to Left 4 Dead, you need that co-op experience to play those. Otherwise, it's just
Yeah. So I don't have anything to compare really, because I just like to shoot guns and kill things.
Alex in chat said Fallout won the movie TV series versus Borderlands. Well, dude, like that's a low bar. Like Borderlands, as a hardcore Borderlands fan, that movie's abysmal for multiple reasons. Fallout just had to post the logo and they would have won. Like it's not a hard fought victory for them. So when it comes to Fallout, as I said before, I'm going to kind of compare this to Borderlands a lot just because that is a franchise that I've followed a lot through the past, since the beginning, all the way to now, and I'm actually really excited for the new one. Is it the story, the world, the gameplay, the character? What hooked you the most into Vegas, and what has kept you as a continual fan of the series?
Every story that it tells, there's different factions, like more than Fallout 3 in factions, and it's just so fascinating to learn their lives outside of the war that happened 200 years prior. And like the very beginning, it's literally Benny with a gun, and he's like, it was rigged from the start, shoots you, and then you're on a path to go find what you're supposed to deliver and take it back from him to deliver it to Mr. House, who is in charge of Vegas. So outside of that, like that's a really streamlined thing. Mm-hmm. There's other like NCR storylines. There's the Boomers. There's the Caesar's Legion, or the Kaisar's Legion. They call him Kaisar, but it's spelled Caesar. And there is what's their name? I have it written down. The Great Khans. So you get to learn all their lives and the different stories. So I just find that really fascinating to find out what's going on in this world. But there's also abandoned vaults that you can go into and learn what happened and why did it fail, kind of stuff. I think the lore is the most driven to keep playing.
Okay, and that's across the board. That's not just a Vegas thing. That's 4 and 76 as well.
See, I like 4. It's just very.
There's a butt coming. I can hear it.
It's very different to the first 2 games, which hooked me into the franchise. Like the way the stories were written, the way that you had to play, it was just so different. I feel like 4, they just really were hammering in, make a camp, make a place, build it up, go help a settlement for stupid Preston Garvey. Like, and there's no real consequences in 4. Like there are, but there aren't. Not as much as the other 2.
That's interesting. So probably because of the developer switch, it's a complete different. Vegas is kind of a completely different animal compared to 4 and 76.
Oh yeah, but the only game that is different is Obsidian They hired Obsidian to do Fallout New Vegas while they were working on, like, I think Skyrim maybe at the time. And then Bethesda still does all the rest. They only did Vegas.
Interesting. It's
I
interesting.
don't know. Just
That's interesting because a big developer like that bringing in a small studio to help with that, and let me ask you another question: is that sort of the common theme with everybody? Is Vegas is that's their everyone's like that's the pillar, and they're just like
uh,
for and everything. Okay,
yeah,
what's the one that the rest of the fan base loves more than Vegas?
all different. Everyone has a
Okay,
different love. Like a lot of people love Fallout 4, and I'm like, why? And
okay.
then and then Fallout 3 it has a huge following, which I really want the remaster because I would die to play that again on a remaster. It would be really cool to see it with new graphics and just it would be amazing.
Yeah, that's interesting because usually when I think of a franchise, I'll use Borderlands as an example. One was very much the basics, and then two, they improved on everything, and that's sort of the high point for everybody. And then it kind of drops because, in my opinion, and I think a lot of other Borderlands fans would agree, the humor becomes a little more.
Childish.
Yeah, a little bit, but also it's very similar to the way I think I talked to the Geeks and Co about Deadpool when we used to read Deadpool on a regular basis. It seemed like jokes were happening and Deadpool was commenting on those. They weren't
Mhm.
writing jokes and putting Deadpool in the joke. So I always use the cover of I think he brings back the dead presidents, and it's like that's not really a joke. Like it's an odd scenario, and we put Deadpool in it. And I feel like Borderlands kind of had that same thing where
Mm.
they started writing jokes for the game. It's not they didn't just organically happen. So it's interesting that you love Vegas, but the rest of the fan base is kind of across the board that they each love their own.
Yeah.
There's no like
It's no
everyone
different.
loved 4. I mean, 76 has got its reputation, but it seems like there's because well, and I say that only because I saw so many news reports and so many reviews about it when it first came out. But I have to admit, I've seen people over the past few years, like yourself and others, since the patches and stuff. The fan base has grown on that game, is it not?
It really has. It's changed so much since the beta. I kind of low key miss like the emptiness
Mm.
of when it first came out and like exploring it for the first time. Like that was like really exciting to see this new world that's like less dead.
Mm.
Like there's a lot of green, there's a lot of water, it was just like different places you could go that are so vastly different. And it was just really, really cool to like explore all that just bare bones naked. And now I don't know. I do my dailies and I log off
Mm.
basically. It's you've seen it all and there's like a new raids and I'm not that kind of person. Like I don't care about that kind of stuff. That's more
Fair,
for higher
fair,
level players. So
fair. So you've gotten to a point where you've played it so much you can almost do it in your sleep.
yeah.
Fair enough. And that kind of happens with games at this point. Like no matter how vast the franchise and how vast the world is, if you play it enough, you will remember it sooner or later.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are looking to that towards the GTA 6 release because I've seen so many people post that they're going to do that final run of that highway around the map before as like the last thing they do before they shut the game off because they know they're never going to come back and play 5 again. So I think that's interesting that because you've played it so much, you're just kind of like, meh, it's
Been there, done that.
yeah, interesting,
There's
interesting.
only so much that you can do in fishing, and there's only so much you can do
Hey,
doing your dailies every day.
if you like fishing, it seems like this is the game you want to play.
No,
Didn't think I'd say that, but Fallout, that's where
no,
the
it's
fishing
really
is.
bad. It's not enjoyable.
Do you have a favorite faction or character from the universe?
There's so many.
Give me a top 3 then.
Okay, I'm looking at my notes. um, Factions only? Okay. There's not a lot in Fallout 3. Vegas, I really liked the boomers because once you got into their base and then got to learn about them, that was just really nice. And they're very nice once you don't do anything bad. If you're not evil, you'll get like a cool like jumpsuit for them, I think. And then I like the great cons because again, they're drug addicts, drug dealers, but they have a really great backstory of who they are. And the NCR.
So do those factions go throughout the franchise, or do they switch per game?
It's the only ones that stay relevant through everything is the Brotherhood of Steel and sort of the Enclave. The Enclave in the first few games literally was the government trying to bring back the planet or America back to what it was. But then they got completely destroyed. And then in, I can't remember if it's 3 or Vegas, might be 3. There's like the Enclave remnants, and then there's like special power armor that you can get from that. Because they're all disbanded now. Like, that's what I'm like curious about for the show. Because they do show something in the show. I don't want to spoil it. I want everyone to enjoy it like right off the bat without being spoiled on anything.
That's for when did the season end?
Oh god, last year? I forget.
Okay, so it's been a little while. I couldn't remember.
I just don't like spoiling something I love so much that no one's ever like watched or read about. So like I'd rather just like let it just happen.
Nope, that's fair.
I'm very excited.
That's fair, and there might be people watching the channel who might not have watched the seasons yet. So
yeah,
fair enough.
I don't want to spoil it.
How do you feel about the moral choices in Fallout that they give players?
Well, I would say in 4, not a lot, to be quite honest.
Okay.
I'm just trying to find where I wrote.
And okay, so for those who don't know, and myself including, what are some of the moral choices you might run into? Because I've run into games where they're like, I'll use Infamous as an example, where that's a easy, blue is good, red is bad. You kind of got 2 options. What are some that you'll run into in Fallout?
There are some gray area ones, but some of the most fun ones are in Fallout 3. There's Tenpenny Tower, and you can decide to absolutely blow up Megaton and kill everybody in it, or choose to let them live.
That's a moral choice.
Yeah, and he's a very evil old man. And then there's like a bunch of ghouls that want to take over. I think I can't remember. Maybe it was Tenpenny Tower. I don't know. They want to like live in this place, but they're like, no ghouls allowed. Ghouls are disgusting. So you have to choose between, do I kill everyone at the tower and let these ghouls live there, or do I just kill all the ghouls?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Paul says join Caesar's Legion. They're like the worst in the game. They are slavers. I never ever join them. I never have. I can't morally be that evil. It's too hard. I can't do it. My brain just goes, no, don't do it. These are really evil.
So these are decisions that are going to impact your game further on.
Oh yeah.
Interesting, because I've not played a ton of those where there are. I know there are games like that, Skyrim being one of them, where you will make a decision and it will impact you further on in the game. So,
if you become too evil with like pretty good factions, they will just straight up start killing you. Mm-hmm. If you're too evil.
Interesting. Okay, so all right. That is That's actually very intriguing to me because yeah, I've definitely run into some games where the moral choice is given to you as an option, but you can clearly tell they're pointing you in a certain direction. And the one I always use as an example is the Telltale games, which I used to love the Telltale games, like the Telltale Wolf Among Us, Walking Dead, all those. But it wasn't till I think I got into the third Walking Dead where I realized that I'm trying to play it as if I was the character. Like, how would I, I got this person not liking me, I got this person not liking me. What's my choices? And it was always choices of like, kill one person. And it's like, well, I don't want to kill a person. Like, I want them both to live. I want them to talk it out, but talk it out's not an option. It's shoot one in the head. And I'm like, well, that's not really a choice. That's me flipping a coin. So it's good to know that there are some choices in Fallout that are a little more complex than just shoot character A, shoot character B.
Yeah, I try to get more like becoming the character. Like in Vegas, you're a courier. There's even a DLC which is like so good, and like you're basically traveling through this place to get to this other courier number 5, I think. Marcy will tell me. I forget. I forget what his name, but it's just so amazing, like the story, because like you've wronged this person but you don't remember. Like it's great. It's so good. There's so many good stories to tell. And the one in Zion, that's a good story.
So what you're telling me is if I want to jump into this series, I need to dust off my PS3 and get Vegas.
Yeah. Like it is clunky. It is an old game, so it is very clunky. Like you walk really slow. Like I'm not saying it's perfect, but like if you look past that and you just get really immersed in the story and like what you're doing and where you're going and what you have to do next, like it's so fun.
Now, between you and me, because I heard you say, I heard no one else is. It's just me and you. Be honest, we're friends. We can do this.
Oh, Courier 6.
We've all done this, and I want you to be honest because you mentioned you slid something in there, and I want to check. You said that you like to put yourself into the main character role. Have you ever gone back and just done all the evil shit?
I tried. I do.
And you gave up?
And I gave up. It's too hard.
That's great.
I have blown up Megaton. I did blow up Megaton, and it was really funny because you go back and the girl that you buy stuff from, she turns into a ghoul. And then she's like, I don't know what's happened. I feel funny. It's so good. It's so funny.
So your character in the game is like evil, and then just hits a moment and takes a left completely and goes good.
Yeah, I guess some of the things you just can't. I just can't bring myself to become a slaver. I just can't.
That's so funny. I have this thing where I start thinking about what the in-game characters must feel like being around me. Like I'm always the person, if there's like dialogue going on and I have free roam, I am jumping in front of the character just over and over again just to be an a-hole. So I just when you mentioned that, I just envisioned all the characters be like, this is the most terrible person. Wow, they're really nice all of a sudden. Just like they had a total switch of consciousness. I can't believe that.
There's even choices in 3. Like there's this is the other beautiful thing about the whole series. Like if you play 3, Vegas, 4, and 4, some 76, but not really. But there's always like little bits of continuity characters throughout it. Like in 3, there is a doctor who's in 3 just for a moment, but she plays a bigger role in 4. Then there's a character in that little kids town. It's only kids that live there. Once you hit 18, you need to move out and see you later. Get out. There's a character in there that also becomes a main character in 4. So it's really interesting to see where all these people go throughout the series, which is also really fun to find out.
I like that because that is something that does appeal to me when it comes to almost a bunch of different series, Mortal Kombat, Borderlands, etc., of finding out where that journey leads the characters. Especially something like Mortal Kombat, because I grew up as such a Johnny Cage fan, which is always the joke character, but once you get to Mortal Kombat X, you realize like he's the savior of the universe when he started as the joke. So I love seeing that evolution of characters. We did talk briefly about the series being very post-apocalyptic, kind of bleak, kind of, you're in the middle of a wasteland. Why do you enjoy in a game that's set in such a grim world when there are so many more fun and My Little Pony type options out there?
I just like guns.
Guess what? I've been talking about a series that has a bazillion guns in it. Borderlands. There seems to be a reason why that world intrigues you.
I like the idea that it's a different universe to our own. Like it could be almost like, I don't want to say it, like a alternate timeline, like in Marvel, like all these different, places, different universes, and it's just so fascinating to see like they would use a different type of electricity, like fusion and that kind of stuff. But then all of a sudden bombs drop, but you get to have 40s music and 40s style on top of all of the dark, the gray, the dirt. So you can like go around just like shooting off your guns and listening to Bingo Bango Bongo. I don't want to go to the jungle. It's just really funny.
All right. So it's almost and that's appealing to me too, because I am a big fan of the style and world of BioShock, which is an underwater apocalyptic world, but does have that old school vibe to it.
There is a DLC I don't like in Vegas. That's really hard. I always skip it, but you would probably really like it. It takes place in the Sierra Madre, and it's all like very 20s looking to me. Like it's really cool. Everyone loves that one. I just find it really hard to play. It's really hard. It's one of the hardest ones in the game, I think.
Why is it hard? Is it just the difficulty spike, or is it mechanics? Oh, okay.
I would say the difficulty spike. It's just really tough.
All right. Fair. I hate when developers do that.
You would like that one, honestly, like for the style and like that kind of stuff. I think you would like that one a lot.
Okay. I will keep that in mind. We've been talking off and on about the humor that is in this franchise that I wasn't aware of until I did a little bit of research on the game. We just talked about the dark setting. We talked about the humor. Those are two things that in most instances don't really mesh together, but it seems like in certain iterations, seems like more Vegas than anything else, they seem to work. Do you think it works really well in this franchise, and do you think they could bring it back into a new one whenever they announce Fallout 77?
I low-key wish they would bring back Obsidian just to do another like offshoot of it. And what did she say? Paul got all the gold out and traded it for weapons. Yes, that's not the moral of the story, though. Proud of him though, because it's really hard to do that. What was the question now? The humor.
Yes, the humor and the dark world combining into themselves, and usually doesn't fit that well. Do you feel that that could continue in the future with if they brought someone like an Obsidian? But also because it is Bethesda, do you think Bethesda could do it on their own, or do you think
they could? I don't think they could. I don't really think they could. They don't have like if you played Outer Worlds, like there's like humor in that, and that's an Obsidian title. Like I just find they just know how to write humor in games to me. Like I didn't finish Outer Worlds because it's just I don't have the time, and I would love to finish it, but like the humor in that's really good, and the setting is really good. It's just kind of boring. But I really wish they could. The only humor that they kind of Bethesda inserts that are really smart is the skeletons of like dead people teddy bears. They'll put them in like funny situations. And like in 76, at the top of a church, there is a teddy bear dangling another teddy bear by its feet over the edge. So those kind of little things are kind of funny to me. You just happened upon them, or like there's gnomes that they'll set up, and they're like attacking another gnome, but it's all like just static, and you're like, what's happening here? I found 269 bears before. It's pretty funny.
Wow, they just don't care in this game.
No, they think it's really funny. I have seen some sad stuff, and I have. Sorry, my cat is being crazy. I have watched recent videos since we were going to do the show. I was like, oh, I should brush up on a little information. So I found this one video, and it was talking about the teddy bears because there's no dead children. They don't do dead children bodies. They don't like you killing children in the game. So there is a theory that some of the teddy bears are meant to be the child next to a dead skeleton body.
Fair.
And now seeing that, when I heard that, I was like, oh, ooh.
Now you want to go back and play through it again, and you're like, oh, that's wrong. That's so wrong. That's wrong.
I feel like I came upon, I started playing Fallout 4 on the Xbox One again. And I came across a dead skeleton with a baby carriage and a teddy bear. And I was like, oh my God. Oh no. Maybe it's true.
And as a parent, that probably hits you a little harder than some people.
Okay, sorry.
Yep.
Pardon?
I said, as a parent, that
Sorry.
probably hits you a little different than others.
It did. I was really sad. I was like, oh, my tummy hurts now. But all the funny ones are just funny bears.
Okay. I'm glad, especially that one.
Yeah.
That's just funny. So we've been spending a lot of our conversation about the video games, going from Fallout 3 to 76. We wouldn't be able to do this episode if we didn't talk about the TV show, which I have been a fan of video games in general since I was a kid. Back, I had my first Nintendo. I am not as current on video game trends as I used to be because I'm getting older and I'm getting to that age where I just don't have the capacity. But when it comes to video games in other media, this is a complete genre that has tripped over itself multiple times with many different franchises. However, this seems to be a series that got all the praise for hitting it out of the park. As a fan, what is your opinion on the show compared to the games?
I wanted to cry the first episode because I just cannot believe how amazing it was. I was following along with a few of my Instagram friends who are in with the Fallout universe, and they were posting some behind the scenes stuff. And I was like, oh, this is going to be really cool. Todd Howard, or AKA God Howard, he was very highly involved in the writing and the world. There was things he said, like, you can't use this because we want to keep that in our back pocket for future games, future shows, whatever. He wanted to keep it very close to the lore as much as it can be canon to the series, but also not keep things like that happened at the ends of games to be set as canon. So I'm really interested in seeing where season 2 goes, and I'll explain after.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just perfection. It just felt like the game.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like the world. It was just so good.
Now, as someone who hasn't played any of the games fully and only watched a bit of the first episode, does the season follow any of the games closer than any others?
Just in a sense of factions and vaults and the dangers of being out in the world. It just felt like you were in a different game. Like you weren't in a Fallout 4, you weren't in Fallout 76. You're in its own universe of like if it was its own game. So it still felt like you were enjoying Fallout.
That's good because I feel like a couple of these franchises have had that problem in the past where you've only had, we use Last of Us as an example. You really only had one game to work with, and if you've played Last of Us, we knew what that last episode was going to be. Spoilers, not going to spoil what happens, but and then I think because they treaded so close with that second season doesn't play as close to the game, and I feel like that's a big complaint with a lot of people. So that's interesting that Fallout has kind of taken the universe but hasn't followed a game very closely, which I think they easily could have. Well, especially with how many people love 4.
Well, the thing is, each game is a different person that you're playing. Fallout 3, you're a girl or a guy that's father was in the vault, and then he leaves and you go find him. Fallout New Vegas, you're a courier, you're going to go find Benny and kill him. You're in Fallout 4, you are either Nate or Nora, and whoever you choose gets to live, obviously. Spoiler alert. And then you go off to go find your son, Sean. So each game has a different protagonist that it's very easy to just create a new protagonist. My only qualm is now because of the show, there's only this protagonist and everyone's going to cosplay as that protagonist instead of like the thought of the game is they don't have a name. Like that's what I didn't like about 4. Like they gave them an actual name versus, you get to pretend whoever you are. You know what I mean? Like you could change your features and stuff as you went on, which is kind of nice. But now there's just going to be, this one character. And everyone's going to dress as that person instead of just creating their own character, which is really the love of Fallout.
Yeah, that is something that is probably going to happen. I wonder. Well, I'm trying to think. Was there many Fallout at Expo this year? I don't think there was. I don't remember seeing that many.
Not at Fan Expo, there wasn't, because the show still hadn't it was hit off. I think more so with our community than just Joe Blow like yourself, who's not into the fandom, a normie. Like I made my mic watch it with me, and I would be like, "Oh, this is what this is." Okay, trying to like make him feel like he understood what was going on.
Ah, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So for those who I haven't mentioned it yet, but we got up to the wedding was when we kind of turned it off because of how lots of violence during that point, which I don't have a problem with. I mean, I think next week on the podcast, I'm going to talk about my love of horror, so I have no problem with it. My wife, on the other hand, does not even come close to that area, so she kind of wanted to jump off at that point. From what I saw, does that take place anywhere in the franchise? That is part of that is okay.
Oh, bloody! It's so bloody and gory. There's a perk you can pick that's called Bloody Mess, and if it activates, they explode into like pieces and blood everywhere.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So yeah, and I was like, I don't remember it being this violent, and then I was playing again, and I was like, oh no, it really is that violent. Yeah.
So if you were someone like me and both were options, game or show first?
Oh, that's so hard because the game makes you excited about watching the show. Because if you love the lore and you love like what the series, like the whole franchise is, then you would get very excited about everything inside of the show. If you want to watch a really cool story, then I would say watch the show first and then get into the games. But I don't know, it's so hard because what is season 2 is heading towards is Fallout New Vegas. So like
that is I was gonna say, if you want to talk about that for a minute, that is all the stuff that I have seen, promo photos, and I don't know
yeah,
if they're
it's heading to
official
Vegas.
or if those were leaked.
No, they're leaked photos.
Okay,
Somebody
yeah.
took photos of the sets and leaked them, but when the oh, I don't want to spoil it, but like the last scene of the first season, I literally grabbed my husband and I went, "Oh my god!"
So
Oh my
you
god,
will
we're so
be
excited.
there night one, probably
Oh
in that
yeah,
sweater, ready to go
yeah,
for.
ready to go. Or my NCR sweater that actually fits me.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I felt that way when the Resident Evil trailer dropped over the weekend, and I saw we were going back to Raccoon City. I had
Oh,
like
that's cool.
literally my phone just went, and I'm like, okay, something dropped, and it's like Resident Evil, Resident Evil, Resident Evil. I'm like, 9, got it. So yeah, I get that.
I just really like the show. It's everything. It's just so fun, and I kind of understand the whole like hot ghoul thing now. Because like, man, he's got swag.
Like I said, that is a show that, I'm not a fan of the franchise. I'm not kissing its butt, but I've heard nothing but great things about the show, and I feel like that helped so much because it is such a, I guess you call it a DIY story, where it's not like Mario, where Mario goes after Princess, Bowser's got her, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. Seems like a completely its own animal. You could have easily screwed that up.
Hmm. We were all scared.
But it seems like they hit it out of the park when it comes to not only the storyline, the actors, the digital effects, the physical effects, the suits. Like, they kind of knocked it 10 for 10.
And there's humor. There is humor in the series as well, which is nice because you have to have something funny to laugh at.
True. You can't go through a complete
So-
murder during a wedding
Yeah.
without a little bit of humor.
Yeah.
So, at the end, we're in an elevator. You've got 10 floors to pitch me why I should give Fallout a chance. What's your elevator pitch?
My elevator pitch. Oh my god, I don't know. Do you really like fun music while killing things and crazy animals that you've never seen in your life? Fallout's for you. Do you really want to like drive yourself mad by going to Deathclaw like Ridge and like have 30 of them chasing you? Then Fallout's your game. Do you want some giant Cazadors chasing you and just kill you in an instant? Fallout's your game. But no, seriously, like I would say if you don't want a game, watch the show. Truly,
Okay.
because it's so beautifully done, and the effects are so fun, and the story was really great. Especially the last episode, it was very good. So I would give Fallout the show a try first if you don't want to be a gamer. But if you're a gamer, give 3 and New Vegas a try first because Fallout 4 is really boring.
But you did, what about 76? Because that is the most modern, that is the easiest to get right now.
No,
Nope.
no. No. It'll make you hate Fallout.
So it's improved. It hasn't improved that much.
No, like I'll play it because it's Fallout. I will always love Fallout. It's just such a different thing, separate to what the original single player by yourself games are. You know, there was griefing in the beginning, and it's just very one note.
Fair enough. So, if you're interested, we do the show. But if you're a gamer, Vegas and 3.
3 first, obviously, and then do Vegas.
3 first. Do they flow into each other?
No.
No? Okay. So just 3 first, then into Vegas.
Unless they talk about, no, they really don't. They mostly talk about Shady Sands in New York or New Vegas. The pit. They might talk about the pit in 3, which is Pittsburgh. They only mention it. But yeah, Vegas. If you want to watch season 2, play New Vegas because you're gonna scream with excitement.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So yeah, because when is season 2 planned? Do they have a release date yet?
December of 2025.
Ooh, we're getting close.
This year.
We're getting close. So if you're interested,
They all had Santa hats on, so I'm thinking Christmas.
it's not a bad way to spend Christmas.
No, it is.
All right, Crystal, I have greatly appreciated you being on here. You have given me an outlook on Fallout that I did not have before the show, so I greatly appreciate that. It is knowing that there is humor in the game. There are different versions of the game, some that are a little better than others, even though fan reception is kind of across the board. Everyone has their own favorite. You've convinced me that this might be something I want to give a shot at. Now I just got to make time to actually do it. Is the second
playing Lego games.
Yeah, stop playing Lego games.
Tonight, Fallout 3, get it downloaded.
Can I get Fallout 3 on PlayStation Network? I can't remember.
I'm not sure. I know I can't play it on 5 because I have PlayStation 5.
I'll have to find out.
I know on Xbox you have if you have Game Pass, you have access to downloading it. I know. I went and got an Xbox One. I paid like $100 just so I could play them.
What year was it? It had to be like 2017, 2018 when EB was at Expo. They had Xbox 360s for $15.
What?
And I got one.
Wow.
And I brought it home and I set it up. I made my profile and I went, what the hell am I doing? I don't have the time to play another system. I barely have enough time to play the system I have. And I returned it the next day.
Games. Oh my god.
Well, and that's the thing. Alex.
Listen,
let's be honest. We're all to the point that we all kind of have the high rollers of of each brand now. Like PC's got Horizon, we're getting Halo and Gears of War, so sooner or later everybody will have all of them.
Someday.
All right. If anyone wants to talk more about Fallout, Crystal, where would they find you?
Pretty Nerdy Crystal on Instagram. That's it. Nowhere else.
I will have her link listed down below in the description if you'd like to chat with her more about Fallout and see any of her new cosplays. She is working on some new stuff for 2025 that we can't wait to see how that all turns out.
Thanks.
Crystal, it's been a blast. I greatly appreciate you being on here. Folks, I greatly appreciate you all tuning in. It means a lot. Next week, we will be back with, like I said, we will be talking about how I fell in love with horror. As my name is Michael Myers, it kind of was a predetermined road at some point. However, I was absolutely terrified of horror when I was younger. And it took one moment that changed my mind completely. And we're going to talk all about that next week, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you next week on Monday Night Nerd. Take care. We'll see you soon. Hey, thanks for watching Monday Night Nerd. If you enjoyed this content, please hit the subscribe button, like this content, and follow on social media for even more nerdy fun. See you soon.